Welcome everybody to our December edition of our Facebook Live for Grim Oak Press. I am your guest star today. Shawn didn't say anything, but as a guest star and moderator, Shawn and I just chatting, and I was going to come on and maybe do some interviewing of Shawn, have a little bit of fun, say hi. I missed everyone, obviously. This is not me back at Grim Oak full time. No, this is me just participating because I love it and I miss it. And at the end of the day, I like to harass Shawn, so keep him on track and make sure we don't go off the rails too bad.
And I don't miss you, but all the people out there in the community do. So, okay.
I didn't say you. I said the community. I see enough of you.
You do.
So today we've got a lot of great stuff. We're just going to do a quick recap of things we've been doing lately, and then jump into what I think everybody's been waiting for and kind of walk through. And this is what would be our first of probably a couple really big announcements that are just very special to us and near and dear to our hearts. So as a moderator, then it's time to get going. Welcome everybody. Shawn, why don't you tell us a little bit about our experience at Dragonsteel and what it was like?
All right. Well, we've been busy doing everything we're doing with Grim Oak. But you and I we had the ability to get away and go to Brandon Sanderson's Dragonsteel as an exhibitor, thanks to author Eldon Thompson, who was already going, and he shared his booth. So thank you, Eldon, for that. We had great fun down there. It's a well-run convention. Brandon has surrounded himself with some amazing people. There were great authors there. Got to hang out with Wesley Chu and Christopher Paolini and visit with Michael J. Sullivan's wife, Robin Sullivan, which was always a pleasure. And we got to see Caitlin Supanik, an amazing dragon artist who has done some work on our Pern books. So it was lovely meeting her in person and chatting with her. And then, ultimately going to a convention, it's all about talking to the people that walk up to the table and just want to say hi or want to buy our books. And so that was probably the most fulfilling part of it, was being able to meet a lot of you out there face to face. We hope to do more of this in 2024. This was kind of a test run for Jeff and me. We liked it. I'm pretty sure we liked it. That's kind of been the consensus. Maybe our wives didn't like it because we left them, but we're going to remedy that too, probably in the future. So Dragonsteel was great fun, and we, gave away that bookmark that kind of showcased our little announcement that we're going to be making today, and we'll be doing more of that in the future as well.
It was great. I actually bought a couple metal prints from Caitlin of him and her's dragon for Becky and I that I put up on the wall somewhere in this office. But it was great. I seen Caitlin's art outside of just what she does for her books. She's a fantastic artist. Obviously did a great job and continues to with Shawn. Hopefully sneak peek a little bit for us. And you did mention maybe something coming up next year around February, March timeframe, maybe close to home, a convention. Yeah. Grim Oak thinking about doing something?
Yeah, we're doing it. We're going to do it. So those of you who, know where we live in the Pacific Northwest, so it's pretty easy. And even though we're being drowned right now by this epic river that's flowing into our states, we hope that it won't be here in late February, because we plan on attending Emerald City Comic Con, which is always a wonderful convention. They do a great job for writers, artists, celebrities. They run the whole gambit. It's one of the larger conventions in the country. It's in the top 10 for sure. And we are in the midst of basically planning our exhibitor booth. So, we're going to bring basically everything we learned at Dragonsteel, what worked well, what didn't work well. We're going to bring all that experience now to Emerald City Comic Con. I've been in touch with a lot of the authors that are going to be attending that convention. I can't mention their names because they have not been officially announced by ECCC, but it's going to have a great lineup there, and it's going to be a lot of fun for us to go as professionals, as an exhibitor. And those of you who are going, we just want you to stop by our booth. We'll be doing some fun things, giveaways, things of that nature, and really cool giveaways. I will say things that you won't be able to get anywhere else. We have some cool plans in store. So yeah, we're going to Emerald City Comic Con, and then after that, we haven't talked a whole lot yet about the other conventions. But I'm really I literally wrote Rose City Comic Con the other day. asking about an exhibitor booth there. They're in Portland, Oregon, which is basically super close to the Grim Oak warehouse. So that would be a natural fit. And there's a couple other conventions next year that Jeff and Becky and I have talked about. So yeah, we'll be making a formal announcement about Emerald City Comic Con here coming up in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. And yeah, that's going to be the start of our 2024 basically when it comes to conventions. So hope to see some of you there.
That'll be a lot of fun, and we will promise that our better looking halves will join us. So Kristen and Becky will join us at Emerald City. Come say hi. And I've even challenged Becky that we might be doing a little bit of going dressed up as Jedi or something fun. So we've been looking at doing a little bit of playing with costumes and fun stuff like that. So excited to see if I get Becky dressed up in cool looking Darth Vader or Stormtrooper suit or something. We'll have fun with that.
I think I'm so close to Darth Vader in the Kenobi TV series that I could probably get that outfit and really become Anakin if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll talk about that.
I like it.
Nah, we'll see. What else?
Well, wanted to hit on Black Friday sale really quick. Just from the warehouse, and Becky had a quick note she wanted to throw out there. It's just again a big thank you for a wonderful sale. One of our favorites to do during the year. We don't do a lot of sales at Grim Oak, obviously, right? We produce collector books. They have a very hard line for what it takes to sell these things and keep our business going. But at the end of the day, we do end up with extras. We have to. We always order 10 to 15% extras. Things get damaged in shipping. Things get lost. We want to always try to give the best possible, customer service and quality to our customers. So by the time we get through a year or so of new books and series coming in and shipping, we end up with some leftovers. And we call it a damage sale. Like a lot of you see, there's not a whole lot of damage. Becky and I use a grading scale of a 9 and a 10, right? So if it's not a 9 or a 10 and a grading scale of 10, it goes on the shelf for something later, which means you get some beautiful books. And if it's below a 5 or a 6, we throw it out, right? It goes to a library, we donate it, something like that, which is nice. But we want to say thank you. We finished shipping all orders, and it was absolutely crazy. We had boxes from every size, slip cases mixed with the letter edition, with the clamshell, with 2 paperbacks, just weird stuff. So it was a lot of fun to kind of do and see what people order and what they were able to get to.
It's literally the most chaotic. It's the most chaotic shipping that Becky does during the year, because you can't get into a rhythm. Every order is different size, different quantities. It is the most difficult thing you do, and I super appreciate it because I don't have to touch a book. Other than yesterday when I signed a bunch of books.
You did. We brought Shawn down yesterday. So for those of you that were waiting because we didn't have a signed copy of Darkthorn or Twilight Dragon, Shawn came down and signed those, and we got those out yesterday afternoon. So everything should be done for Black Friday, which means through the rest of this month, we're not expecting anything huge to happen. We will continue to ship out as we get our dailies. Get your orders in if you have something that you wanted for Christmas. Try to at least be a week early and choose priority. Otherwise, you might not see it with media mail. Just so you know, this time of year that kind of happens. But otherwise, went great. So I want to just say thank you again to everyone on Black Friday. And Shawn, actually, we announced something kind of new, kind of hidden maybe, with Black Friday. I don't know if you want to pop it up and show us a little bit about something we're adding to our site.
Let's share screen here. Let's make sure I can find it first. Make sure I have everything correct. All right, there we go. I want to share my screen. Here we go. All right, here you go.
Yeah.
This is something that Becky and I've talked about for the last couple of years, and this year we felt pretty strongly that we wanted to bring it to Jeff too, because Jeff is technically part owner, and we all agreed that it was time for us to offer gift cards on Grim Oak Press. We have a very busy lineup in 2024. It is going to be an incredible year for fantasy collectors in particular. And we felt like it was a good time to put these gift cards up on the website for purchase during the holiday season, because a lot of people with their friends and family, they have a hard time deciding what they want to ask from their friends and family and whatnot. And we felt like a lot of people would really like maybe to get some gift cards to be able to go towards some of those major purchases that are going to be coming next year. So as you can see from the page here, you know, it's pretty obvious. It's right on the front page. So if you go to the front page, you go down to the bottom, it's right here. Just click learn more and it pops up and you can order in quantities of $25, $50, $100, $250, and $500. And you know, this really good stocking stuffer type of stuff and or gifts. And you know, I'm excited for this because I think we've had people over the years, a great many people request it. And so we figured out the functionality on our e-commerce platform and made it a reality. And actually, I worked on this as Jeff drove to Dragonsteel. I worked on this in the passenger seat. So even on the drive down there, we were working our butt off trying to give you guys more functionality and more ability to be able to buy our books. So there you go.
As Shawn mentioned, best part about a gift card is instead of getting that, you know, medium t-shirt that never fits me, I can ask for a gift card so that I can actually use.
Right.
So, it's a great way to actually get something instead of the fruit salad or something else. But yeah, definitely something big. We love it. Okay, now on to the next thing. I want to just quickly talk about one thing here, and then we'll get into projects and the fun announcement. But upcoming here in December and then monthly, we're going to start to do we're going to call it Between the Stacks. It's a reference, obviously, to book stacks in maybe Name of the Wind, maybe in the library.
And Cemetery's work. There's the stacks. Yeah. There's the stacks mentioned in Landover, Princess of Landover too, which I liked.
Exactly. And that Between the Stacks will basically be a monthly newsletter coming directly from Becky in the warehouse. And it's meant to talk more about, hey, what's coming in? How's shipping going? What are we doing? What are we seeing around, like what people are choosing for international and domestic shipping methods? What's being successful? How do we box? Just some of the fun insider stuff, you know, and just kind of keep people up to date on what the heck's going on in the warehouse. You know, we've got some unique personalities in there, Becky especially, with a good sense of humor. So allowing her to write a little bit and to share kind of what's happening will be a lot of fun. So
and photos and videos and things.
Photos, videos, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we'll start that up. We'll have our first December issue coming out. We'll send it. Make sure you're signed up for our newsletter. You see it right on our homepage for Grimilk Press as well if you haven't signed up, and we'll share them out. It'll just be a lot of fun. Okay, next, Shawn, let's start talking about some upcoming projects.
All right. Oh boy.
Q1. So we have announced everything we're doing in Q1. Well, maybe not everything, but the big things that we're doing in Q1. So we thought it might be fun to share a little bit more information on each one, and maybe even, Shawn, maybe some artwork.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to do today. I felt you guys have been very patient about some of these projects that we've had in the works for a while that you've known about. And talking to Jeff this morning, it became very obvious that, you know, today's an important announcement, and we'll be making that announcement in a little bit. But we can't overlook some of these other titles that we are doing and showcasing what we have in store for Q1 and possibly beyond. So maybe some early looks here, we'll see. But and I just want to say something really quick. If you have questions, hold on to them. Hold on to them just a little bit while longer, because we're going to go through this stuff and then we'll get to the question portion so that you guys can ask us your questions. I don't want your questions to get lost in the news feed on the video. So yeah, let's do this. Let's get into the fun, at least the beginning of the fun. Just need to change some things around here. There we go. You guys can see over here. Oh, look at all the people commenting. That's great. I love it. All right, look, here's our first one. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The next thing that we have planned that's actually coming up for pre-order is Stone of Farewell by Tad Williams. And as you can see from you know, the wall behind Jeff there, Jeff and I have been huge fans of Tad Williams for a very long time. I think Jeff and I read those books when we were early in high school, and they definitely left an indelible mark on both of us. And when Jeff and I decided to partner at Grim Oak, that was the first project that he mentioned that we had to do. And it took a couple of years to get those rights. But thankfully, Tad and his wife, Deb, and the fine people at Daw Books decided, you know what, it's time. So we obviously we released the Dragonbone chair with artwork by the amazing Donato Giancola. You know, it's one of our most gorgeous books, I think, from top to bottom. Beautiful end papers, beautiful interiors, high quality, and you know, you can't miss out with the Donato artwork in it. Well, Donato's been hard at work on a number of projects, but for Grim Oak, he's been working on Stone of Farewell. And Stone of Farewell is the second book in the series, and he felt pretty strongly that he wanted to kind of match up some of the artwork choices that he made on in Dragonbone Chair, which Jeff and I were super excited about. And so, without further ado, you're going to see your first interior from Stone of Farewell right now. Oh wait, I can see Jeff. Oh.
Okay. You're just sharing your screen. We want them to see your screen. Open
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, I just see somebody else posting in there making a comment. So anyway, so here's the first image from Stone of Farewell that we wanted to showcase. And we might release one or two more before the pre-order, but they will be on the actual pre-order pages.
Yep.
So here we go. Here's Ingen Jegger and his hounds. Voila.
Phenomenal work by Donato here.
So this was the second interior that Donato sent me in thumbnail, and I sent it to Tad, and Tad was overjoyed with it. He said the hounds look a little different, and so Tad actually had input on this one. He had input on all of it, but in this one specifically, he had great interior ideas for how to make this match up more closely to the book and what Tad saw in his head when he was writing the scenes. And Donato took that and ran with it, and oh my gosh, did he do a beautiful job in this. It's Ingen Jegger doing his thing. And you know, I don't know what you think, Jeff, about this, but there's a couple others that might rival this one for me in the book, but I think when it comes to just the design of it, the overall build of the artwork, it's just amazing. I would hang this on my wall if I could get the original painting. So,
well, yeah, I see. I have to add another painting to my
yeah.
Memory, Sorrow, Thorn collection. I'm dying on which one I need to do. So yeah, we'll figure it out. There's so many good ones, but this is a great teaser because it's the detail, the way that Donato paints. It's gorgeous, right? I mean, and it is perfect because you got input from Tad. The hounds, they're not the heads of the hounds, if you remember the story, right, aren't the same as a normal dog.
Yeah, so or a wolf. They're different.
Right, exactly. So it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So this will go in pre-order. This book goes on pre-order in January. You can find the date. This is specifically just for people that own direct Dragonbone Chair. Those people, they have 2 weeks to match their number in the pre-order. And then after that, anybody else, the remaining copies that might exist, they will be available to the public. So that's kind of our new model going forward, giving people enough time in advance to be able to save up their money. And if they want to continue buying books in a matching series, then they can do so. And if they don't, then those copies will eventually go up for the public. That there's going to be a lot of people that are already. I mean, we get emails every day about Dragonbone Chair and Stone of Farewell. So this is our next book. Super pleased with it. The book is wrapped up. Tad is signing the signature pages. He's the last one to sign, and our book designer has already finished the files. So
it goes into quoting now with printing and binding.
Yeah, I think we sent quotes in 2 days ago, maybe. So very exciting. Or yesterday. It was yesterday that we sent in our quotes. So for those of you who do pay attention to how we do things at Grim Oak, us doing the quotes and getting the estimates going way before the pre-order, this will speed up the project. So when you guys spend your money in January, it'll shorten the period of time between you guys paying and us shipping you the book. And this is something that we've spent a lot of time talking about and figuring out. So I'm excited for our new model when it comes to that. The next book, what do you think, Jeff? We do the next one?
Yes, let's do it. Next book is for our February announcement, for those of you who remember.
I believe that this is an announcement that is the wraparound dust jacket, if I'm not mistaken. So here we go. Voila. So those of you who are Peter V. Brett fans, you will recognize these two pretty much immediately. Jeff is a big fan of the Brett books, as am I. And this was a series that was pretty easy for us to acquire because we love the book so much. And Pete has been a close friend. He supported me over the years, even as I've had him on the signed page. So this was kind of like one of those dream projects that was really good for everybody. And then we got Alan Williams, the artist, to do the artwork. Alan, for those of you who don't know, is a big fan of Pete's series, and Alan jumped at the chance to be able to do the artwork for this. So this is the wraparound artwork that we will use for the dust jacket on the limited edition, and then the lettered edition will have this as a fold out.
Yep.
Just based upon the comments that I'm seeing over in the chat, you guys are matching exactly how we feel about Alan Williams' artwork here. There wasn't a whole lot of extra work from this. Alan really nailed it right out of the gate. I love the color palette that he chose. It's dark and moody like the series is. And of course, you got Jardir there, looking, buff and stuff and way too handsome for his own good, probably. But and the spear, which, all of that is just fantastic. So this will be a pre-order in February, if I remember right, somewhere around February 21st. Again, the people that bought the Warded Man and have a number for the Warded Man get the first crack at this for 2 weeks to match their numbers up. This is another project that is basically wrapped up. Pete is signing as we speak, and he's going to send the signature pages to Alan for signing, and then this one's pretty much done too. So as you can see from Stone of Farewell and the Desert Spear, we are really making an effort to have all of the files done before we even take your dollars, again, to speed things up.
Yeah, and everybody's going to love seeing Arlen Bales on the back there, kind of put it up. I love it. Desert Spear is one of my favorite of the whole series, just because you kind of take that step into Jardir's world and you hear his backstory, and it starts to really pull the story together. And as Shawn said, devastatingly handsome. He is in the book too, right? That's how he's described. So
yes,
it works out just fine.
I just wish I looked like that. From the hair all the way down.
Take a quarter of that body. Geez.
I know, take a quarter of that body, right? Anyway.
All right. So let's jump to the next one for this is another very, very exciting one, obviously. We've shared a couple small things about this, but we're going to share the cover art now for the next project there, which is Summer Tree by.
Oh, this is going to be an interior, because we've kind of.
I thought you had the cover out.
We've kind of shown the cover a little bit, so I feel like it's time to show an interior. And again, actually, this one is not my favorite interior, but I felt for the purpose of today's podcast that this one was a good choice. And this is from The Summer Tree by Guy Gavriel Kay. So the artist, Julien Delval, he's a French artist, and wow, is he incredible at just capturing mood. I can't get over how good his artwork is. I approached Guy, this is many months ago now, and I said, who would you want to do the Tapestry trilogy, because it was your first work that was your own, and it's super important to a lot of people, including you. And I try to do that with every project. I really want the authors to have as much input as they want, because I feel like it produces just a better product, a better book in the end. And The Summer Tree is the first of the three. The other two are The Wandering Fire, and now I'm blanking on the third book. But this was a trilogy that I really wanted right from the get-go, and Guy and I have been friends a long time. This one took a long time to come together because the subsidiary rights, the legalese of it, different people controlled different areas of the world when it came to publishing that trilogy, and so it was kind of a mess having to wade our way through all of it. But I was patient, Guy was patient, and we eventually got there, and now we're doing these first three books. And this is a lot of people are Guy Gavriel Kay fans. You know, when you talk about some of the better prose writers out there, obviously Tad Williams is one of my favorite prose writers, but Guy is right up there with Tad. And you know, this was a natural fit for Grim Oak in a lot of ways due to that. So, and basically what I'm seeing from you guys over here, wow, beautiful. Yeah, this is going to be a stunning book as well. And the cool thing about this project is Julian has decided on it completely on his own to do the books back to back to back. A lot of artists, they need a break in between projects set in the same world to, you know, to kind of cleanse their palate, to come back to deliver their best work. And in this situation, Julian is like, no, I love this trilogy. I've loved it forever. He's done other work for Guy in the European markets. So he already knew this story very, very intimately. And I think the result is pretty clear in his artwork that his attention to detail in these paintings is just incredible. So, yeah. And somebody's already asking, Irv, I think you'll ever do Tagana? Yes, we definitely want to get to Tagana, but right now the rights for Tagana are held by a different small press that I believe they've already done their work. So we just have to wait for the contract to run out of its time limit, and then we'll focus on that. But first of all, we'll be doing this trilogy first. And of course, rights will transfer from this trilogy onward through Guy's catalog, basically. So yeah, super excited about this. This one is in March. I think this is the first release in March, is it not?
This is the first release in March, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, super excited.
All right, let's talk about the second release in March really quick, and then everybody's getting antsy. I know.
Yeah, I see it. We're already 26 minutes in, so
we are. But we are. I just want everybody to know, like, we are excited about the artwork. When you think of Grim Oak Press and what we really stand for in a lot of our things, the art is an amazing part of the story, I think, and it goes a long way. So we spend time and money and effort into making sure that we have the right artwork. Yeah. At least in our eyes. So
yeah, and you know, honestly, we in Grim Oak, we pay for that artwork. It's the reason why these artists keep coming back and working with us, is because we pay them very, very well. And maybe more importantly, we actually pay them on time. Normally we pay them within a day, so which is unheard of in the book industry. So they appreciate that too, of course. So on to our next project. This will be later in March.
Everybody's excited for this.
Okay, so anybody can recognize this. This is an interior from a book. Again, this is, I need to make a quick mention about Summer Tree as well before I move on here. Summer Tree is the first book in a series. So it's not waiting on a 2-week time period or whatever. It is whoever gets it right on that first day. So if you want to start collecting Guy's work through Grim Oak, you will it's going to be open to public on that day of release. So I just want to stress that.
And we'll be really clear with everyone in communication right up to the minute. Who gets what and when. Our goal is to get, I'd love everybody to have a book, right? But part of the collecting world is we got to limit our numbers a little bit.
All right, here's the next one. So here's the next interior for a project that will be going live at the end of March. Again, this is another project that you got to own the first book and have a numbered edition or lettered edition of the first book to be able to get the numbered or lettered edition of this book. But this is an interior from Full Moon by Jim Butcher, artwork by Chris McGrath. Now, those of you who are Butcher fans and Harry Dresden fans, this interior will come as no surprise to you at all. This is directly from Full Moon, Hexwolf, Harry going up against one. And this, Chris McGrath has been a Harry Dresden artist for a very, very long time. And if you remember, the original book covers that Chris did, the publisher really wanted Harry to have a hat because it made him look more mysterious. Well, in the books, he doesn't have a hat. So when we decided to go after the series and produce it in beautiful special editions, I talked to Jim about it. And Jim said, yeah, no hat, please, no hat. So I talked to Chris, and Chris is like, oh, thank God, no hat. So Chris has been holding to that. And you know, what's there to say about Harry? You know, he's always in trouble. He always gets his ass kicked. He's surrounded by some very cool characters. The interiors that Chris turned in, they're all fantastic. I don't even know if I have a favorite. I picked this one because it was actiony. But his portrayal of Murphy is spot on, in my opinion, from what I read in the book. So, yeah, this Full Moon, and then actually he's already beginning work on Grave Peril to deliver artwork in late spring or early summer. So, you know, he's going to do his preliminary stuff now, then we'll go back and forth. And so he's already bringing on Grave Peril. So you guys can probably imagine that we'll be doing the next Harry Dresden sometime, maybe around fall or winter next year. So we're going to get these back on track we're going to try to do a book every 6 to 8 months. That is what we're hoping to do. So yeah, right. There you go.
Good artwork for the first 4 in Q1 that everybody kind of knew about. We want to share some additional interiors and different art. Now let's really quick, Shawn, let's jump to things we haven't formally announced, but we have some sneak peeks. We like sneak peeks, and we'll see what people can recognize. Some you may know is coming, some you may not. So
yeah, that's right.
The first one.
So first one here. Oh, what's that? Oh, actually, Jeff and Becky got these into the warehouse a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. Obviously, from the names that you see on the signature page, those of you who are Malice fans and are John Gwynn fans, you guys have known that this has been coming for a long time. You know, we have heard from numerous people how excited they are about special editions of The Faith and the Fallen. And this is basically the signature page. This is a different signature page for us, and I really like it. It's a full page, full color, high gloss, you know, features one of the swords in the series. And this John had a heavy hand. He really enjoyed a lot of the art direction on this series. So when it comes to the cover and when it comes to the interior art in the book, you know, Sam White's doing the interior, Marcus Winnie did the cover. You know, John had he had a lot of input on it, and he made a lot of changes that the artists were more than happy to do. And I think it resulted it's going to result in a book and a series that's really going to match up well with what the readers see in their head. So yeah, like James.
So that next one then. Quit teasing us.
I know. Here comes the next one. So we have not shown this, I don't think. I think I showed a little piece of this like 6 or 8 months ago. So here is the cover for Malice by Marcus Winnie. And again, Mr. John Gwynn had a lot of input on this. This matches up with the UK covers that have been coming out. And we wanted them to match. That was the important thing, especially with John. John wanted them to feel, he wanted them to feel like it was a part of the series overall. The special editions and the regular trade paperbacks and the hardcovers, they could sit next to each other and just be gorgeous. And, you know, Marcus Winnie, he really turned in some excellent artwork for this. And he's already finished the cover for Valor, which is cool. So we're already getting ahead of the rest of the series. Sam White is at the tail end of the interior artwork. So I think he has 3 left and maybe 1 that needs to be touched up a little bit. And so we're getting close on Malice. And, you know, this is, if I remember right, this will be possibly April or May-ish. I don't think we've set a timetable for it yet, but
we have it slotted in May, but Q2 hasn't been completely lined up yet. So
yeah. So, but we wanted to showcase some of this stuff with you guys because we have it. You know, it's hard for us to sit on this stuff sometimes. You know, we get all excited. It comes in, and we're like, well, crap, we can't share it with anybody. This is ridiculous. So this is our opportunity in a holiday podcast of some sort to be able to share some of the stuff that we have coming up that's already in a pipeline and far along in the production.
So these are going to be, Shawn, just so everyone knows, we're doing full color on the interiors on these 2, correct?
Yes. Yeah, these are going to be full color interiors and a lot of interiors. I can't remember if it's 8 or 10, but it's a lot. These are kind of chunkier books. I felt pretty comfortable about doing that. And again, this is a book where on release day, it is open to everybody. There's no rights involved with this one yet. So you order Malice, you get Malice on day one, then you're going to have rights to get Valor and the others in the series.
Yep, 100%. All right, let's jump to the next one. So we have book 2 in a very important series. See if everybody recognizes this.
Now this image, I have to stress this. This image is a low res image that was sent to me by the artist. She is having this painting, because she still paints old school. She's having the painting professionally digitized so that the colors will really come out. And so if you see some pixelation here in the image, it's because of that. Like, we just don't have the high res version of it yet. But this is Servant of the Empire by Remedy Feist and Jenny Wirtz. And obviously this is Jenny Wirtz artwork. And, you know, that I can't even tell you guys how important the Empire series is to me as a writer. I read it very early. I read it right after I read Magician. I loved how it was political, and the characters, and Mara's story was just great. And it's just one of those stories that I feel like all of a sudden it's starting to get this kind of pickup again, which is great, because it is, in my opinion, the first Game of Thrones. It really is. And Janny, I was fortunate enough, you know, to acquire this with, you know, and Ray and I have known each other a long time, and Janny and I have known each other a long time. So again, this was another project that I wanted on my own shelf. But more than that, this was delayed a little bit, so I have to apologize a little bit about that. But Janny was wrapping up the final book in her other epic fantasy series as a writer, and I didn't want to push her on it. I wanted her best work for this next book and for Mistress of the Empire. And so this is a book that's been delayed longer than we like, but the interiors are done. The painting for the cover is done. And this is another one that will be basically ready to go pretty quickly. So, but you know, we can only have so many books in the warehouse. That's the other. Some of you might be asking, well, why aren't you putting this into production and getting it done? Well, the warehouse only has so much space, so we have to be very careful how we stagger this out, because we can't inundate Becky with, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of books at once. Nothing would get shipped. It'd just be this chaotic mess that wouldn't get done. So we're being very careful about it. But anyway, so yeah, so this is, you know, the Jenny Works cover, and God, this sky up here, I can't wait to see the high res version of this painting, because it's going to be something special.
When you put daughter, servant, and mistress next to each other in that style of how she paints,
yeah,
look really good.
Yeah, it's going to look fantastic. Sure.
All right, let's take them to the next or the final sneak peek for Q1.
Yeah.
Again, this is another big one for us, and
so this was fun for us, because we got sent this from Caitlin Zupanik. Oh my gosh, it's been a month and a half now, maybe longer. And this is The White Dragon by Anne McCaffrey. So you Pern fans, here's the third book that we're doing. And this is my favorite cover, actually, of the group. I just love the colors. You know, it matches up with what was done before, but I just feel like it's a great step for Caitlin. And you know, Pern is beloved. Pern is kind of like Shanra or Donaldson, or, you know, the Thomas Covenant books. It's beloved by those early 80s readers and late 70s fantasy science fiction readers. And so when we were in Dragonsteel, when we were hanging out with Caitlin, we got to see this kind of up close and personal. And so, oh my gosh, was it so much fun seeing it. And people would come up to our booth and say, well, what about White Dragon? When's White Dragon coming out? I'm like, go over to that booth right there and go see Caitlin, because she'll show you the cover right now. And so many people were so excited about it. So
she's going to have the original painting for it too. At some point she'll sell on her own. Right. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and Miranda Lawrence just asked, wait, is that the Drawn to Dragons artist? Yes, Miranda, it is. We got to meet Miranda too, which was kind of fun. She did my ebook on the King Killing Queen. So hi, Miranda, I see you out there. But yeah, this is, you know, This book is almost done too, actually. Now I think about it, the signature pages have to be done, but Caitlin will sign those really quick. So again, another book that's basically done for next year. Well, our lineup next year is really great, but wow, we almost have half the year kind of wrapped in a weird way. So
We're
anyway,
ahead of the game, which it's a good feeling to be ahead of the game on this stuff because we can provide better service and better quality at the end of the day.
Right.
That's really what we want. So
yeah. If something goes sideways, we have some time to be able to fix it. So that's the important part. Which they sometimes do. So now you guys want the big announcement?
the big announcement time.
I mean, do you finally? I mean, should we just stop right now? We've announced enough. I mean, we could just stop. No, I'm gonna wait for one person in there to go, don't do it, Shawn. Don't do it. Announce. Okay, so when Jeff and I kind of joined forces with Grim Oak, we had a number, I suppose. No, don't tell them about. I suppose, that's fine. We'll do it. When Jeff and I kind of partnered up with Grim Oak, we talked about the projects that were near and dear to us. Jeff and I have been reading fantasy since we were teenagers. I mean, we really we know the genre very, very well, and we've continued to read it over the years. And there are certain books that come along that you just automatically love. And for Jeff, it was this one. So here we go. Yep. I mean, it's no secret out there. Yeah, I'm teasing, James. I can't help it. It's in my nature. I've been doing it for 25 years now. But we have acquired the rights to produce beautiful copies of Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss.
Grim Oak style.
Grim Oak style. This is Grim Oak and our vision for this book. I can tell you the first time I read Name of the Wind, I actually was approached by Pat's agent to do his website. I was doing websites for Terry Brooks and Naomi Novik and David Anthony Durham, I believe, at the time. And Matt, his agent, approached me and said, I have this new writer that is, amazing, and he needs a website. And I was so busy at the time, I turned it down. It was definitely one of those mistakes in my life, I feel like now.
Career move.
About 8 months later, I started hearing all this really great praise for this book called Name of the Wind. And so I went and bought a paperback, and I'll never forget it. I literally took that paperback to Terry Brooks's house on the Oregon coast. And when I went to Terry's house, 12 years ago, 13 years ago or whatever, usually it was to get away. I would do some writing there, but I would normally just go as kind of a mini vacation and use it as a reading retreat. And I was there for probably 4 or 5 days, and I read half of the Name of Wind in that time. It's a large book, and I don't read that fast, honestly. And I loved it. I fell in love with it. Terry knew I would fall in love with it. If I remember right, Terry blurbed that book. He was surprised that I was just getting to it. So this is one of those books that I feel I want this book on my shelf. And that's why when I talked about it earlier, when I pick projects that I want for Grim Oak, I want the book on my shelf. That is the reason why I pick it. And so this was a natural pick for me. And not only that, but for as much grief as Pat gets online about book 3, he is one of the most big-hearted guys out there that I have met, kind of, and similar to George R. R. Martin too. Both of them, when I had cancer in 2011, both of them donated things to me that helped me get rid of that medical debt that I had accrued. And remember, that was over $200,000 in medical debt. And the first person that I asked to write me a short story for Unfettered was Pat. And Pat, Terry came up with the idea of asking authors, but Pat was really the one, the person that I asked after Terry. And, Pat initially said no. And then 10 hours later, he sent me How Old Holly Came to Be. Because clearly he was thinking he had a story idea and he wanted to see it done and executed. And so Unfettered, which ironically today is the 10th anniversary release of the book, in bookstores. We have a hardcover and a trade paperback out today in bookstores that you can well, the hardcover is in Grim Oak, the trade paperbacks in bookstores. Pat and I have been connected in several different ways that I won't go into, but a lot of our family stuff that we've had in our lives, they match up. Having kids approximately at the same time. And so we've kind of always been connected in some way, and we've always been friends. And then, last year we did Underthing Press and relaunched Digger, which was a great book to do and bring back into print. And then lo and behold, we were kind of allowed to have the rights for this. We'll be doing the first special edition basically in the United States and Canada, which I feel like is super important. We'll be using Marc Simonetti's artwork that he did for the French edition, which is beloved by so many of Pat's readers.
As you can see, felt like wonderful example of it right here. It's incredible.
Yeah, and Marc won a Chesley Award with Grim Oak for his work on the Sword of Shanara. So working with Marc was kind of a no-brainer for us with this when you added everything up together. And I can't tell you how important this book is just as a reader. It's definitely one of those best books written in a generation. And Grim Oak will be producing 4 different editions of it. I think we'll be producing them in a way that everybody can afford at least one of the versions. We felt pretty strongly about that. And so, and we didn't want to announce this until his novella that just published a couple of weeks ago. We wanted to make sure that Pat had the time to be able to, do publicity for The Narrow Road Between Desires and all of that. So we've had the rights for this for a while, but Jeff and I decided it was just a good idea just to hold off and wait. So this will actually be a pre-order. When's the pre-order for this, Jeff?
We are looking at February 7th.
February 7th. So, we're giving you guys, a good solid 2 months, basically 2 months and 2 days, something like that, to prepare for this. There will be, as I said, 4 different editions of the book. We're still working on price points. We're still working on, the design of the books, what we want in them. But when we'll be creating a frequently asked questions page for the website so that you can answer your questions in more depth later on. But we felt like that was a good time to announce this right before the holiday season. And people are already saying, oh my gosh, I need to take that day off work.
Yeah, for sure. It just really clear, Shawn, I want to be clear with everybody here, especially we've got some questions about the third book and why are we doing this edition. So we have nothing to do with the third book, Grim Oak Press, right? Shawn and Grim Oak Press have been friends with Patrick for a long time. We have done collaborations together. Everybody knows Digger that we did. Patrick has a Underthing Press, which is a stamp of basically Grim Oak Press. So we've worked with him a lot and we have a lot of respect for him. And we know he has struggled to get the third book out. Everyone understands that. So why the heck are we doing another edition? Because it's never been done in the US and Canada. And this is what Grim Oak Press does. We don't publish new books. We take something that we love and we make it better, right? And we try to bring it to everybody else. So the point is that we support Patrick every day as much as we can to keep writing. And one of the best things about doing this is we know he's writing in the background again, which he's written on a novella. He's been doing different things. Shawn is in communication with him constantly. This is a good thing for Patrick as well. So, this is not us pushing for book 3. In fact, if book 3 never comes out, I'm still a better person for having read book 1 and 2 10 times. And I'm ashamed to admit that I have. It's that good, right? So we do it for the story and more than that. This is not a way for Pat to get rich, right? This is not how that works. Nope. We get sub rights. The publisher we pay the publisher for sub rights. We don't pay Pat. Right. And he's going to sign and he's going to do things and work with us on it. So this is a good thing all around.
Yeah. So again, Marc Simonetti is going to be doing the artwork on this. And we'll have more information about all of this in January sometime. We hope that we can carve out some time to chat with Marc and Pat and we'll be using Nate Taylor's maps, which I'm super excited about. Nate and I are close friends. He worked on my graphic novel. He produced the maps, The Name of the Wind and Wise Man's Fear, and he did the artwork, the interior artwork on Slow Regard and Narrow Road. So he's a natural fit. So he'll be working on this project a little bit with us. And we'll have more news in January about this. And of course, February we'll be taking pre-orders. So, but as you can see, I mean, Marc's artwork is just phenomenal in this in the Four Corners universe, and you know, he's producing new artwork. Marc is. We have a great deal of artwork from that French edition, but you know, we wanted to kind of kick our editions up a little bit and add a little bit extra to them. So we hired Marc to do a couple extra things. He's going to be doing you know, probably 2 different dust jackets, which I'm really excited about. Maybe a third one. Jeff and I were talking about that this morning, trying to figure out the best way to do that. The signature pages will be different. There's going to be a lot of artwork, extra artwork that we're adding into these. And to answer a couple questions that kind of popped up already, no, we do not have the rights to Wise Man's Fear yet, or the novellas for that matter. This is the deals with the publisher are the same, actually, exact deals as we had with Tad. I think Daw Books, they've produced such great books over the years that they wanted to make sure that Grim Oak was going to be a good fit for their authors. And so the original Tail Chaser song, that was a single contract. Dragonbone Chair was a single contract. Now, the Stone of Farewell and Two Grange Angel Tower contracts were lumped together. For whatever reason, they felt pretty comfortable about doing those together. But in this situation, we have the rights to do Name of the Wind. If we knock this out of the ballpark, as you know, to use a baseball metaphor, we've already talked about Wise Man's Fear with the publisher, and they're already interested in doing it. So that, you know, this is one of those things, you know, people come out and buy Name of the Wind, we will be doing the other books. And, you know, to jump on what Jeff said about Pat, like, I know for a fact that Pat's writing. I know that he's been writing a lot again. I can't share how I know that. I know that sucks for some of you guys that, you know, believe that he's not doing anything other than playing video games. It's not true.
Not our place to say either, right? I mean,
and not our place to say. It's certainly not our place to say. But I'm just happy. I don't know any of you that have read The Narrow Road Between Desires, but wow, was it so nice to read new writing from Pat. And as long as he keeps writing new content in the Four Corners Temerant universe, then I will be there because I'm a fan of his prose, so, and his storytelling. So anyway, so yeah, this is our big announcement. And the cool thing is this is our first big announcement of a couple that we have coming up for 2024. So it's not just Name of the Wind, it's a lot of fun stuff. And again, here's Quoth and Eladon overlooking the courtyard, which the thing that if you follow Marc Simonetti on social media, he loves playing with perspective. And that's one of the things that I super appreciate about his artwork. And I just love it. So Nick Newman, I cannot wait. I own both of the French editions and will be thrilled to add these as well. Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait to have these on my shelf. I can't wait. Jeff can't wait. I mean, I think Jeff has already carved out the spot on his shelves, if I remember right, in his office.
I had to buy a new shelf just to get these editions.
he bought a new shelf in preparation for Name of the Wind and the editions we'll have. So yeah, all very exciting. We'll be, like I said earlier, we'll be putting up a FAQ that's a Name of the Wind specific to try to answer as many questions as you guys have. And when we get closer to solidifying the various different editions we'll have, we're going to have a black and white edition. And I will say that we will definitely have a black and white edition. It'll be high quality materials. It'll be double signed, you know, by Pat and by Marc. It will be a nice edition. And then we'll have 3 other full color editions of various types for you to consider. And the price points will not be as egregious as many of you are probably thinking for a book like this. So I think I think we could have done something quite large, but we are fans of fantasy first, and we definitely want people to be able to have these on their shelves. And so we'll be talking more about that coming up soon. Anything else you want to add to that, Jeff?
No, I think just for folks to understand, it is Grim Oak, not Underthing, right? So we'll be coming out as Grim Oak, which means we have the control of how we publish it and what we do, and Pat participates in it. Daw participates. Mark is doing the artwork. We do have Nate Taylor doing some map work. So our other editions that Shawn kind of talked, we're looking at potentially 3 full color. These will be probably the most interior full color interiors you've ever seen in a book, which is, I mean, not being a graphic novel, but something where we bring in some great. And so this is, I love it because it's old stuff from Simonetti that he did for the French edition, which is amazing, right? New stuff because he's got some corrections he wanted to make, as well as adding new artwork and a couple different wraparound dust jackets and interiors that will have big fold outs in some of the higher tier books. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, if you're anything like me, I will own every single one of them, and not just because I own Grim Oak Press, but because I would do it anyways. And just very excited, and I'm happy. Like, at the end of the day, this makes me happy to do this one. It's been on our list for 6 years of trying to go after it, at least. Shawn's been doing an amazing job of creating friendships and breaking down some of those barriers between the typical big publishers and small presses that we rely on the big publishers to give us rights at the end of the day, right? We're not producing new stuff. Our art is new, and those things are, but we're using stories that have been published before. So, creating those friendships, breaking down the barriers a little bit, and just trying to bring you what we think is the best in science fiction and fantasy, period.
Yep.
That's always going to be us.
Yeah, well said. And I'll end this on a semi-funny note here, and then we can take some questions too. We have a little bit of time left, but somebody asked, Jeff, are you going to let Becky read your editions?
She gets one of her own, she says. I'm like, I don't know about that. Nah.
Oh yeah, she just responded.
Of course she does.
Get one of my own.
Of course she does. And she has read these as well. Becky, she was never much of a science fiction and fantasy reader decades ago, but with Grim Oak and us starting this business years back and her jumping into it, she's picked up quite a few of them and read along the way. And I know Name of the Wind has been one of her favorite as well. So
yeah. So we're super excited about this. Again, we'll be we'll be posting more information about this soon, but we felt like today was a good time to announce it, mostly to give you guys enough time to ask for all those gift cards that you're going to need that we now offer on Grim Oak Press. So, and Mike Kitchell, Becky runs Grim Oak Press. Let's be honest. Yes. She does, with an iron gauntleted fist. I hear Becky giggling in the background there. That's funny. Anyway, so you guys can ask some questions now if you like on any of this stuff that we've announced today. We can probably go for another good, I don't know, maybe 18 minutes or so. I have kids coming home soon. You don't want to see that ruckus and chaos. So,
all right, Shawn, let me read you a couple of the questions. You want to dump the sharing so you're up there?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. All right, so quickly, any estimates, basically, will there be a numbered edition? And I think this is pretty clear. We've talked about doing 4, but at the end of the day, yeah, we're going to have a numbered edition. We're thinking of basically a numbered black and white edition, as well as a numbered full color, because we want to keep the price points in good places. We're going to put a ton of time, effort, and money into the production of these. We want them to be top shelf, right? If you think about it in a different way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Shawn said it, we want to make sure that this is such a good story. We want everybody to own and be able to hold it and have a copy too. So we
That's
want
right.
different places. So we will definitely have 2 different limited edition versions, black and white, and 1 in full color.
Yep.
All right, let's see. What do we have? Oh, we have some stuff on pre-orders for Elf Queen. What?
I can talk about that really quick.
Terry fans.
Yeah, there's a Terry fan right there. For the Elf Queen of Shanra by Terry Brooks. Yes, I have some news on that, but you're going to have to wait. When it comes to that book, the artist has been working hard. She's turned in already 5 or 6 incredible pieces. Terry actually saw them the other day, and he was in love with all of them, which is always a good sign. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to announce at least a type of pre-order date, or at least a pre-order month, and the name of the artist, and showcase one interior in Terry's end of year newsletter. So if you are a Terry Brooks fan and you like the Shanra series and you're collecting the Heritage series, which is Scions, Druid, Elf Queen, and Talismans, you'll want to go sign up for the newsletter Grim Oak Press, because I tend to throw stuff in that newsletter too from the signed page. And you honestly, you want to go sign up for Terry's new newsletter, which is at terrybrooks.online. So I created a new website for him because the old one was clunky and I didn't like it. So now we have a new newsletter over there. So yeah, definitely sign up for the newsletters, and we'll get you the information at the end of the year about all of that. And then a sequel,
Gray.
Yeah, a sequel to Antiquity Gray. That's a ways away. I am trying to get all of Terry's signed books shipped out in the next week and a half or so. Then I have to write a short story set in the King Killing Queen universe and get that to the Kickstarter backers. And then I'm going to finish up the edit on the Dark Thorn, which that has been waylaid a great deal because of all the work I've been doing the last month with the signed page. And then I need to write the last 5 chapters or so of the Everwinter Wraith, which that won't take very long because that's in my head. It's ready to go. I will be able to finish that within a month or a month and a half or something. And then I will probably take a look at Antiquity's story because I have it outlined. I know the end and I know basically the first 2/3. So there's that area 2/3 to the end that I need to consider a little bit in the twists and turns. So yeah, it's a ways away, but it's definitely I'm definitely thinking there. All right, what else?
Question on rights. I think this is an important one for Name of the Wind. Will Digger carry rights? The answer is no. And we're pretty strong on that one. And a couple of reasons, right? One, Digger's not Grim Oak Press, it's Underthing, right? It was one of Pat's projects that we helped with. Digger's not written by Pat, it's Ursula, right? It's not part of the series. So it doesn't really check our boxes. But again, we're going to try to make sure that everybody gets something. That's why we're coming out with the different editions, and kind of you can pick and choose hardcore collectors versus I just want something really nice that I can read again, and so we'll try to make sure that everybody can get something, but we will not be, there'll be no rights. So this will be open on February 7th, our normal 11 a.m. Pacific time. The door's open, be ready and go to get one of your different editions or all editions or however you want to play it.
Yep. And we'll talk a little bit more on that on the FAQ too. So it's very clear. Underthing Press is Pat's arm under Grim Oak that allows him to produce projects that he wants to do, not what we want to do. So we are doing Name of the Wind. Pat, he has a number of projects that he's actually thinking about. A personal project. Most of you know that he's been working on a graphic novel with Nate Taylor for a long time. I have no doubt that in some level that will be an Underthing Press project, and he has a couple other projects, books that he loves that he really wants to do in Underthing. So yeah, good job answering that, Jeff.
Well, it's as much as we want to, I don't want to tie rights to things that really don't have much of a tie.
That's right.
Let's go.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's see. Mike asked, so is it the series? And Shawn, I think you answered this earlier, just really quick. Mike, no, it's not the full series yet. We just have rights for Name of the Wind, but as we did with Dragonbone Chair and Tad, this is a test pretty much from Daw to say, hey, how do you guys do?
Yeah.
Right?
And that question actually comes from a very good place, because the 10th anniversary edition of Name of the Wind published, beautiful book, people loved it on their bookshelves, and then Daw didn't do a 10th anniversary edition of Wise Man's Fear. And so I think that might be where the question comes from most often. Like, are we just going to be doing the one book and then not doing the rest? Well, that's not our intention, I tell you that. Because I want the books on my shelf. Jeff wants the books on his shelf. And obviously Becky has her shelf that she wants to book on. So we will be putting our best efforts forward when it comes to producing gorgeous books, producing them on time, which we can talk about the timeline here about this a little bit too. And so that we are allowed to do Wise Man's Fear and especially do the novellas. I love both of those novellas too. So we'll talk more about that later. But first of all, we need to work on Name of the Wind, get it done correctly. Marc's working on new artwork right now, which is great. And yeah, we'll just have more news in 2024.
Yeah. I mean, timeline, much like our new model of doing things, we're doing the same thing with Name of the Wind. When we announced this in February, our expectation is we'll have files, artwork, everything pretty much ready. We are playing a little close to the chest on numbered, like how many we're going to do of each edition. And it's only because we don't want to get this wrong either.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we want Grim Oak Press to survive another decade, bring you great books, and we blow something like this the wrong way, and
Yeah.
we might not be. So we want to make sure we get it right. We want to keep the collectability, but keep that in line with the people that really want a copy on their shelves.
Yeah, I want to talk about the collectability part too, just really, really quickly. Somebody asked me a while back about why we're not doing Kickstarter. Well, Kickstarter is a great platform to use when you want to do what Brandon Sanderson did, which is offer like a book to the masses en masse, and everybody has a chance to get one. Well, I mean, yeah, Grim Oak could have probably made $7 million on Name of the Wind. Honestly, like it could have done that well. But Grim Oak and who we are, we love the collectability of our books as well. And so while these aren't going to be super, super limited like a normal Grim Oak book, these are not going to be, 20,000 copies out there either. So I just wanted to stress that we felt like Kickstarter just wasn't the right place to do it, and that we have a beautiful website and a high functioning website that we could sustain the inundation on release day and survive. So,
yep.
Corey asked
it's just Becky, Shawn, and I too, right? So trying to ship 20,000 books won't happen. We won't be able to publish another book, and there are other books that are just as important to people, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing those too. This isn't exclusive. So let's see. And then just quickly on timelines, there's a couple things. We had Malice. Malice is more than likely, it's a Q2, more than likely May. White Dragon might fit in May as well. We think that'll be about there too. So for those two questions on White Dragon and Malice,
then delivery of Name of the Wind, we're looking at late fall. Like I mean, just to make sure we're padding the timeline a lot in case of something. The more editions you do of a book, the harder it is for the bindery in particular to get those editions right. And both Antiquity Grey and King Killing Queen, ironically, both my books, which drives me crazy, had issues because of the complexity of the editions that I wanted to do. And so we just want to make sure that we're giving enough timeline for expectation on that, just to, padded enough where nobody's yelling at us, where's my book? That would be the worst thing that I can imagine for a book of this nature. And so we're looking at, late next year for delivery. If we happen to deliver in September or, October or something, so we're 2 months early, so be it. Like, people will be happy and thrilled. It just, we want to make sure that we're doing this right and not upsetting anybody. Corey has a good question.
What did Corey have? Will the text of Name of the Wind be the 10th anniversary edition version or the original? Ooh, appendix materials. Yes, Shawn, that is a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's an easy answer. We don't know yet. Honestly, we have both files. We requested both files from DAW, and they supplied both files in InDesign files. So for those of you who don't know InDesign, InDesign is the new standard for book production. And so when it's easier to manipulate the text in an InDesign file than it is like in a PDF. And so, we haven't talked specifically about that yet, but we're looking at everything. The appendix materials is something that might be kind of fun. The problem with doing the appendix materials, just me talking right now, Jeff and Becky and I haven't talked about this yet really with our book designer. The problem with the appendix materials is that we don't have appendix materials for Wise Man's Fear. And that really bothers my OCD-ness. So we might not do the appendix materials, but we might use them in ways that you might not expect. Because I've been considering that for a little while. So we shall see, but we'll be able to answer that more thoroughly in January. It's not something we'll spring on you. It'll be posted long in advance of the pre-order date. Yep. Cam asks a good question. Printed in one color or more?
Ooh.
That's a fun one. Jeff and I have talked about that possibility of maybe doing a duo color, like a 2-color, kind of like what Dragonsteel does with Brandon's books. We talked about that. We haven't settled on that yet, but that's a very good question. We are considering it.
Absolutely considering it. In fact, we're considering a lot of feedback from the community in what goes into our books moving forward. So we just, we appreciate it. We do have a vision of how we see things, but we also understand that our vision isn't always perfect. So we are looking for feedback. So we do appreciate all the feedback we get on our editions. And one of the things I think you'll see us introducing is more colored interiors, so higher quality artwork, and really putting that on. You see, if you look back at Grim Oak 6-7 years ago, right, we didn't have color interior work. It was all black and white sketch work, which is great. Some people absolutely love that. But I think as we've moved into, more of what Grim Oak is and what we want to be, we think the art is absolutely a stamp of a Grim Oak book. And we're going to continue to put in those beautiful, full color, whether it's a tip in or it's something we might have a fold out for different covers. I think you'll find some really fun stuff with Name of the Wind. We might try some different things too. Just for fun.
And again, just with my ego here, I'll say it's my ego. The books that we're putting out are the books that I want on my shelf. And you guys are just along for the ride. So that's how that works. Let's see, what else there, Jeff? Anything else?
Oh, there's lots of stuff. I'll just so everyone knows, I'll go through and I'll create a post again on our community, just kind of summarizes the stuff. And we are going to do a FAQ, like Shawn said, that'll be specific to Name of the Wind, just to highlight some of the things that getting asked over and over again that we don't want to have to answer, and we can point people to. We'll keep it simple.
Yeah, we'll be adding a graphic to the front of the website that will link directly to that FAQ. So it'll be very easy to find when we do it. That'll be done over the course of the next week, I say. So we'll get that up. It won't take me very long to get it up, but it's important to get that information out as soon as possible so you all know what's going on.
Yep. And Rick, yes, I want to see that cribbage game against Shawn. And I think we should do it, before a Mariner game next year. Oh,
that's a really good idea, because Rick and his family do come over from the Tri-Cities and go to a lot of Mariner games. So we could do that. We could meet them at a restaurant somewhere down there in Soto, and it's on like Donkey Kong, 3 games.
I won't play Shawn anymore, just so everyone knows. He cheats.
I don't know how you cheat at cribbage, but okay. You don't like playing me as Scrabble because you think za isn't a word.
Yeah, you make stuff up on me. All right. I think that's a wrap. Again, thank you for everyone for attending. It's a great time. Lots of great stuff coming. Looking forward to a lot more moving forward. So we'll be having Shawn on a lot more often from a live perspective. One thing we didn't say, Shawn, is we're going to try to get Marc on a live, Marc Simonetti, to see how his French accent does. It could be fun to ask him questions about the story and his artwork, and maybe try to pull in, maybe even Nate. And if we can, Pat. I mean, we want to keep Pat writing and doing his thing, but you know what? He needs an opportunity to come out and talk every once in a while too. So we'll see what we can do.
Right. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Spread the word about all of our projects that we have going on at the moment. And as always, we are, super thankful to all of you. Without you, we would not be doing this. And I hope you have a safe and happy holiday. That's all we can ask for, right?
Cheers all.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Bye.